Project was as early as about 1980, somewhere around there, but the reality of the organisation and being named the organisation was about 30 years ago now, so around about 1991. And the reason really that we set it up was because it wasn't about being a rescue organisation. We had no intention of being a rescue organisation. It was to do with the need we felt there was for a Wildlife Information Bureau specialising in foxes. And really there wasn't an organisation before we started that was there to provide advice. But in the process we became a rescue group simply because people saw the name The Fox Project out there and thought that's what we were. And initially we thought, well, that's okay, we can handle that. And in 1992 we took in 3 foxes and we thought, that's fine, we can handle that. And then last year we took over 1,000. So somehow we can handle that, but not very many more.
I'm Sandra Reddy from the Fox Project and I'm the director here at the hospital unit. We rescue sick and injured animals at the Fox Project, so without the public's help we wouldn't have anything to do actually. It's the public are really fond of their fox who visits their garden every night, and it's they get a connection with them, and when there's something wrong they let us know, and that's how we're able to help the many that we do. We make a difference to individual animals. We don't make a difference to the species as a whole, but to those individual animals that need help that come to us, we make a big difference to them. And it's about putting something back in nature,
It was never intended to be a big organisation. It was intended to be a Wildlife Information Bureau, and for the most part just a one-man show. And if it made enough money to be able to just keep, pay me a wage, even not a very good wage, then I figured that was enough. That was all we were intended to be. But as things go, you develop, you do more, you need more money for that, you need more staff for that, and things just organically turn into something that you never intended it to be. So what we have now was not the intention. Why foxes? Simply because I felt there was a huge misunderstanding about them, so many myths about them, and also that point about them being more urban since the Second World War, they're being more urban foxes, and the myths needed dispelling. People have so many weird ideas even now about foxes, but they had weirder still ideas about foxes 30, 40 years ago, and that needed changing, and it has changed.
I'm Tamsin, I am an ambulance driver. I do 3 days a week and do 12-hour shifts, trying to save as many foxes as possible. I started off as a volunteer, so I came here as part of my degree, did work experience, stayed on with them and then covered some shifts for them, and then they kept me on.
When foxes are picked up by us, they're either netted with a big fishing net that we try and catch them with, or if they're too smart to and are able to still run away from us, then we look at cage trapping them. So there we'll leave cage traps with the homeowner for a week, and they try every day to catch their fox. So in our intensive care unit here at the hospital, We have 10 shoreline cages, which are the hospital cages, and they are cleaned twice a day when we've got animals in. In the mornings we do the medication, and we feed them twice a day as well. And then when they're feeling better, the foxes are transferred towards their home territory.
So our fosterers range, normally they're rescues that we've done, and the people are so impressed of what we've done or want to be involved, love foxes, and then we kind of suss out if they're really keen to be fosterers, because it needs to be a certain type of person to put the effort into looking after them, clean them out, feed them, care, meds and everything. So yeah, they've just come on board over the years, just being interested in what we do, so we couldn't do it without them.
We also get cubs submitted from about March every year. The cubs come in at a very young age, and they're bottle fed every 3 to 4 hours, depending how old they are. These cubs are put into groups of 5. A group of 5 is an average litter number. So when it comes to August, September, that's natural dispersal time out there in the wild, when the vixen with her wild raised cubs will be telling them to leave home. This is when we release our cubs, because by then they're fully grown, they're independent, so they can go and find their own way, the same as the wild raised cubs are doing.
Adults are released exactly where they come from. That's the best place for them, because that's their territory. If it is that the people do not wish them back, then we have to do it under kind of the hours of darkness, or a bit secretive, because that's the best place for them, so we're not going to move them.
They will know exactly where they are. They know the dangers, the food supply, the shelter, they know everything within their territory, and they can find their way again from that point. So obviously, without the public, we wouldn't have, we wouldn't be able to help the foxes with their care. The public who see the fox in trouble and bother to ring us to find out what they can do to help. It's great that the public cares so much about foxes, and therefore we're able to help them. Other things they can do to help in the wild, which is their gardens, is look at any hazards that might be out there. So from fencing to swimming pools to ponds to garden netting, all of those things can be hazards for foxes. And as far as the Fox Project's concerned, if they wanted to help, we've got an ambitious plan to buy our own property, and that will help forward. In years to come, we will be able to continue to help foxes. And so, if people want to help donate, look at our website, the Fox Project website. They can donate online and help us that way.
Well, my ongoing hopes, I suppose, for the future is that people more and more become to regard the fox with positive attitude, and we can eventually dispel with all the myths that still float around. From the Fox Project's point of view, well, we inevitably have to expand, because we don't have any choice. Life happens to you, and no matter how much you try and keep a lid on it, and we do try and keep a lid on it as much as we can, we just have to keep going and developing more facilities, raising more funds to be able to support those facilities, which go hand in hand, and meet the tide, really.